How did you arrive at the name festival? I mean, it seems appropriate just based on all those things, that sense of coming together, but there's other names you could have chosen too. How did you arrive at that?
Yeah, that's a great question. First and foremost, the poetry has to be good, all right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a given, all right? It's like anything, whatever, if you're selling ice cream, the ice cream has to be good. It doesn't matter how cool your logo or your space is. So, I was confident just from the beginning. The poetry was great because I was experiencing it and knew the poets. And I try to think of the experience from, a number of angles. But I thought it'd be important that the presentation, the name, just how could I set it apart? How could I, tell the story of what it would be in this concise way? And at first, I think, as poets and as artists, you're very creative and you want to do something that's very cerebral and heady. And I was like, I had some options in the Latin root name of this and that. And then I thought about it and I was like, no, it needs to just be something that it felt relatable.
Yeah.
And I think often with art, it can be intimidating for people that aren't in the space, even for people that are. I'm in the room with some poets and I'm like looking around sometimes like, wow, blown away by some of the folks.
Exactly.
So I didn't want it to feel intimidating or too heady. And the Poetry Festival was about as straightforward as I could, kind of come up with. And so that was just the idea, to just make it very approachable, very much like you look at it, know what it is. And I think festival, hopefully it feels a little more fun.
Exactly. I was thinking that like words have an emotional pH.
Exactly.
Right? And festival is a word that certainly leans more into the brighter, the positive, the happy, the fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the goal. I think my experience and the inspiration in those spaces is I would leave feeling inspired and a bit joyful. And at a time when I think we could use a bit more joy, that's kind of this under, current and thought with the festival, the event, is that I want people to feel a little bit celebratory and we can celebrate each other and the talents. And I see you over doing your thing and I'm like smiling like, okay, there goes my
exactly
guy.
It's very mutual.
Yeah. And so that's the kind of the feeling that I wanted to convey just from the title.